Thanks for tuning in to BloombergQuint. Well, as a result of the scheme of arrangements with the Max Group, we've seen the listing of one of the entities, and now as a resultant scheme of arrangement, Max India gets listed. Now, here's for information: Max India is the company that houses Antara Senior Living as one of the businesses, and then they have a couple of other verticals. So on the eve of, or rather around the listing, let me put it that way, or relisting as you would call it, let's get the MD and CEO, Mr. Rajit Mehta, to talk about how does he envisage the business prospects going ahead and how does he see the business landscape. Rajit, so good having you. Thanks so much for joining in and hope all is safe.
Good afternoon, Niraj. It's always safe. God is kind. And good afternoon to all the viewers. And thank you for having me on the show. So actually, I'm quite eagerly looking forward to the relisting or listing, as you call it. I think it should all go well for the organization. So Max India, as you know, has been a corporate known for service excellence, governance, and is pensioned for spotting trends very early. Happened with life insurance, healthcare, and now senior care. So senior care is actually a mega trend playing out in India as well. In our estimates, about $10 to $12 billion market with four very large pools. And Antara is to create a loved and trusted brand and actually create an integrated ecosystem for seniors. And there are four value pools we are focusing on. The first one, which we've already done in the past, and again doing more of it, is residences for seniors, which was a Dehradun facility, the finest senior living facility in India today. And the second one launched in Noida only 60 days back with a fantastic response, which clearly vindicates that the brand and the concept resonates well with discerning customers. And then we have a whole new business strategy around what is called Antara Assisted Care Services, which has broadly three verticals. So there is care homes. Now these are meant for people, elders who are either living alone or with children, but have needs on a daily basis, assistance they require in terms of bathing, medication, mobility, feeding, and would want to stay in a very safe and secure setup where there is, constant care through nursing, attendants, doctors, physiotherapy, diagnostics if required. Or elders who've gone through an intense medical episode, transplant, cardiac bypass, and therefore need rehabilitation for 3 or 4 months. Or you could be a patient coming from outside the city or country, and you need to stay for 3 or 4 weeks after the surgery. These care homes provide you a very safe and secure environment with all the backup of primary healthcare services and engagement activities to keep you cognitively and physically stimulated. If you unfortunately have, a mental disorder, dementia or Parkinson's, then we have memory care homes, right, which are a little different from the care homes in terms of infrastructure and skilled nursing. So that's the second version of the care homes. And then we have, care at home. So if you don't want to shift to these homes but want the same services in the environment and the comfort of your house, we can offer care at home. We can offer you critical care. We are fully equipped to, provide you all the monitoring, the nursing help, the doctor help, including setting up the room. Instead of you staying in ICU, you can, be in the comfort of your house. We can offer diagnostics at home, pharmacy at home, physiotherapy at home. We can even do X-rays at home. So a lot of services, of what is called care at home. Now, our objective is to make the care home the hub of seniors in the community that we are in the hyper-local market that we are in. And we therefore provide the care at home in a radius of 15 kilometers. And then if you need any products or services or aids, mobility, wheelchairs, walking sticks, braces, oximeter, oxygen concentrator, diapers, then we'll have a bunch of partnerships to be able to provide you. So in one sense, Antara is now started to become an integrated platform focused on seniors. You're on mute, Niraj.
Yeah, a bit of a pin to piano concept, I reckon. Okay, great. Interesting to know that. Now, can you tell me where, I'm guessing the market for this is in a way nascent, so to say, at least amongst the established branded players, and therefore the growth prospects might be great from the base that you are at. But where do you foresee the larger share of the revenue growth coming in? Not just in terms of percentages, because percentage-wise, I'm guessing all the subsets that you spoke about could do well. But what could the focus be? What should shareholders expect?
Yeah. So I think just to give you a perspective, we are focusing on 4 million customers in 3 clusters. These are all mass affluent, household income of 15 lakhs and above in North cluster, West and South cluster. And we are only wanting to penetrate about 1 to 2%. It is about 40,000 to 80,000 customers, and that will make our business plans come good. Difficult for me to give you any forward-looking numbers, but fair to say that bulk of our growth and shareholder valuation will come from the new businesses of Antara Assisted Care Services. While we will certainly do 3 to 5 more communities besides Dehradun and Noida, but bulk of the growth will come out of Antara Assisted Care Services.
I mean, is it because it is a less capex intensive proposition and the scalability is easier and the availability of manpower is easier because of which you're doing that? Because otherwise, I thought the need for high quality senior living options are just few and far in between. I've heard of the two that you have, a couple maybe in South India, but otherwise, there aren't too many words there stalled which we have heard about. So why is it that the focus could be on the other business and not as much on this?
Well, a couple of reasons. One, the need for memory care and care homes and care at home is growing, and in fact, the pandemic has only accentuated that need. Our queries have really shot up in the last 2 months as far as these services are concerned. You're right; it's an asset-light model. The care homes are rented facilities. We do retrofitting to make them very, very safe for seniors, and it's a rental model, as well. It's quite asset-light, replicable. While real estate takes a couple of years, to create. These rooms, these houses can be replicated quite quickly, and the care at home service in any case is replicable. So it's more to do with asset light, replicability, scalability, which then increases shareholder value. So that's the reason I said most of the growth will come from these new ones.
Okay. While I understand that you can't give me too many forward-looking statements, but unfortunately, there's not as much past history to understand as to what the quantum of growth rate could be. I mean, because most management would say that it will be a factor of X or Y, and on the basis of what they've done in the past. Some idea about what's the ballpark estimate that you would aim to get, even if whether you get that or no, or maybe you eclipse that is a separate case in point.
I'll share with you some surrogates at best. I don't want to make any leading statements and run afoul of the regulator. But I'll give you some surrogates. So obviously, if you look at the need, we're looking at about maybe 1,000 to 1,400 beds being created in the memory care and care home space. Care at home, in any case, is a retail business. There it's a revenue. So you're right. Nobody has put the entire system together. There are parts existing. But if you look at the past valuations in the US, for example, the care home, the assisted living is about 20x of EBITDA, right? If you look at the care at home in India, there have been some deals in the past at 7 to 8 times of top line. Our initial dialogues with some private equity investors before we started this journey is that you can look at 2.5, 3 times top line for the care homes as well. There are some surrogates we have put together, and that's the reason we are quite confident that this will indeed create significant value for shareholders.
Okay, interesting. Now, you are going to expand meaningfully in the businesses which are capital light. You have some cash on books already, and I heard you mention that while you will do the senior living real estate facility as well, it will be measured in a sense. Is it safe to assume that a large majority of your growth over the course of the next 3, 4, 5 years come without any need for raising any kind of capital, be it equity or debt?
Yes, I mean, we have enough capital in Max India today to fund Antara's growth strategy. Even for the residences of senior vertical, we are looking out for strategic partners who will bring in the capital both for the land and construction. Our core competence there is design, facilitation of project management, of running the community and sales and marketing. And we do want to focus even on that side, on our core competencies, and therefore that model also in the future will become asset light. And that's the reason, I said we want to look at these models. And you're right, bulk of the growth will come from Antara Assisted Care Services in the future.
Okay. One last question. Aside of the growth rates, of course, that you spoke about, and I'm not growth rates literally because I understand you can't give me numbers. I'm just trying to understand as the person heading this business, and in terms of conversations that investors would have had with you as well when they look at this new piece of Max India's business, what is the most exciting thing? Is it the nature of the business, which I presume would have reasonable return ratios, is as asset light, the cash flows will be positive, does not need too much of capital in which ways, or is it the growth prospects available out here or is it the ease of raw materials slash manpower that is available to do such work, and you being a sort of a market leader in branding and otherwise, which would excite you and excite investors the most?
Yeah. So no business in India is easy. It's not as easy as
That I agree.
none of them is easy. But I think it's fun to ride a mega trend. Spot it very early, which Antara did, and then figure out where are the value pools which lie, which will create maximum value for the stakeholder. So that's quite exciting. In any case, I enjoy transformation very much. As you know, I headed up Max Healthcare in my previous avatar, then was the chief operating officer for Max Life. I've thoroughly enjoyed transformation. The other bit is, as I look around, there are 120 million seniors today, right? We grow to about 175 in the next 6 to 7 years. 40%, have vision issues. 40% have diabetes. 17% have dementia, and that number is grossly underreported. As I look around, there is a need for us to come together and make sure that they are well looked after. There isn't benign neglect. The joint family system has virtually broken down, as you know. So I think it's great to create an ecosystem which also has a social impact. So for me, both riding the trend and creating something which has impact is quite exciting.
Well, we wish you all the best, because if you're scaling this well, you will end up doing a lot of good too, and which is pretty important. So all the best for that. Thank you so much for speaking to us today, and we look forward to maybe periodically interacting with you to see how the business is shaping up.
Of course. Thank you, Niraj. Look forward, and we'll love to share updates as we go along.
Thanks so much, Rajit, and stay safe.
Stay safe as well.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Viewers, thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.